Hi, I'm Jesse with the Turning Post, and I'd like to welcome you all to my video today. Today we're going to be turning a 11-inch platter made out of maple, and here in Oklahoma City we've been getting a lot of rain, and hopefully it won't drown out my video today and my audio. First of all, before we get started, I'd like to give a shout out to Brian, Jonathan, and all those professionals at the Woodcraft store in Oklahoma City. They have a lot to offer at this store. They have a variety of power tools. They have a variety of woods, both exotic and domestic. If you are looking for any hand tools, not just for wood turners, but they also have for woodworkers and carvers. If you're looking for classes, whether you're a beginner or an advanced student and you want to learn more, we have those to offer at the Woodcraft store also. So if you're in the vicinity and if you have the time for these classes, stop by and see Brian, Jonathan, and all those at the Woodcraft store. They're there to help you, and they are very professional in what they do. So without further ado, let me get set up and we'll get started with this video. The first thing I want to talk about is mounting this platter to my lathe. There are several ways you can do this. You have a faceplate, which is highly recommendable. It is more stable and it is more secure holding your platter. The second way is, I call this a faceplate that hooks up hooks up to my lathe, so I can set it up here. This is the second way. It has a this is the second way that I recommend. This has a dovetail on the inside which fits my jaws. And the third way is you can use a worm screw. But when you're turning a platter, this you're only talking about 1.5 inches of thickness with the platter, and this worm screw is about 3/4 of an inch in length, and so you're not going to have much room to play with unless you use a spacer or two. And if you do use that, then you're not going to be able to have as much wood to hook up to. And the third way, or the fourth way, is you can use a Forstner bit and drill a 2 1/4 inch hole. So the only thing is you'll have a point in the middle of it when you get finished. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use this one. We're going to use my faceplate chuck and hook it up to my chuck. Tighten it up. Make sure it's nice and firm. We're using a piece of maple. Now this, my block here is a little bit too thick. This is a 2-inch thick piece of maple, and it's really too big. I'm going to have to take it down to 1.25 inches in thickness, and we're going to take it also down to 11 inches in diameter. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my rim, and I want to get it down to 11 inches in diameter, and then I want to true up my face right here and get it down to 1 1/4 inches in diameter. Now, I have it trued up. I'm using easy wood chuck. And I know that my insert or my recess, I want to be 2¼ inches in diameter. And so I'm going to go half that distance and make it 1⅛. And since it's 11 inches in diameter, I need to make my footing. And with the formula with a platter is anywhere from half to 2/3 of the diameter. So I want to go half. And so with half, that means it's going to be a total of 5½ inches. So the radius would be 2 3/4. 1, 2 3/4. Make my mark. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and make my insert. And to do that, I'm going to use a parting tool, and I'm going to go to a depth of 1/4 inch. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start cutting out my outside rim out here. I want to leave about 1/2 to 3/8 inch of thickness so I can true up my front. And I'm going to go ahead and make this into like an ogee. And I'll be doing that with an easy wood mid-size finisher. And now, before I sand this, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of a, not a taper, but a little bit of a taper right here so it sits flat on my table. And then I'm going to put a little bead in here, a 3/16 inch bead. I don't go any less than that. I've done that before, and if you go to an 1/8 inch, or it seems to break out down here. It gets too thin when you try to chuck it up. So now I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this down at an incline, and then I'll be ready to sand it. So now that I have my profile the way I want, I'm ready to do the sanding on it. And so this is where it takes a little bit of time. So let's get the sanding and get this thing done, and then all we got to do is finish it out. And what I'll do is when I get ready to finish it out, I finish it with mineral oil and or conditioner, which is a mixture of mineral oil and beeswax. And the reason I use that is because anything that comes in contact with food, I want to make sure it's food safe. And yes, I know most finishes are food safe, but still, even if you use a lacquer, eventually it's going to dry up and flake off, and I don't like it in my food. So I just kind of stick with mineral oil and conditioner, and you will find very few, if any, people that are allergic to it. So let me get this sanded, and we'll start getting this finished out. And so now we are finished with the bottom. I'm ready to turn it around, take off the faceplate, the chuck faceplate, and remount it on here and finish out the front. So give me a minute, I'll be right back. Now that I have my platter turned around, I'm going to true up this front right here. And then once I get that trued up, I'm going to put a 1.5 inch lip around this. And then I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning out the inside. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to taper it down just a little bit. And the reason I do that, in case you have any kind of food that might spill or something, it goes toward the center. And once I get that done, then I'll decorate it with some beads. And some people like to put texturing around this in this area right in here. And we'll decide whether or not we want to do that a little bit later on. But first of all, let me get this trued up. We'll get the rim, the 1.5 inch on the rim. Then we'll start cleaning out this middle right here, making sure I get rid of all these screw holes. Well, I'm back now. All we need to do is sand this. I've got the angle that I want right here. I got my depth the way I want here. So now I'm going to sand this, and then I want to put a couple of beads in here to kind of decorate it up a little bit and decide whether or not I want to texture it. So let's get her sanded. Okay, now we have it all sanded. All we have left to do now is to finish it out with mineral oil and conditioner. And this will be ready for the table. Now that was fun today. I really enjoyed that. And this is how our platter turned out. I'm very satisfied with it. And that's one of the main things I like about wood turning. You get that self-gratification a lot quicker. And with this one, not only does it look beautiful, but you can also use it, and it's usable. And so I plan on using this weekend. Well, I appreciate you all for listening in, coming in, and joining me today. And if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe down below. If there's any comments that you have and I can answer, please leave those comments down below also. I plan on putting out a few more videos here, maybe in the near future. And if there's something that you would like to see turned, please let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see if we can do that. Again, I want to shout out at Woodcraft in Oklahoma City. I do have some classes coming up and also some demonstrations coming up in May. Hold on one second. May 10th, I've got a demo here at the Oklahoma City Woodcraft from 1 to 4, and I'll be turning a bowl, probably a calabash bowl. And then a week later, on the 17th of May, I've got a crush grind class, and we've still got a few slots left open. So if you're interested, that class will be from 9 to 4 o'clock at the Oklahoma City Woodcraft. And then in June is going to be the big month for me. Again, I'll be at the Woodcraft store in Oklahoma City doing an easy wood demonstration, and I'll be turning that platter from 1 to 4 o'clock, something like this right here. And then on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of June, I'll be conducting a 3-day class on segmented bowls. So there are a few. I'm only going to take 4 students in that one because it is going to be in depth, and so there are a few positions left in that. If you want to go ahead and contact Woodcraft, the telephone number is 405-748-8844, and one of them will help you out as far as getting signed up for the class. For you beginners, if you contact Woodcraft also, Brian gives one heck of a class. He's a very good demonstrator. He's very thorough. And he does about anywhere from 4 to 6 different projects to help you hone those skills, turning between centers. I think he makes a candlestick, a honey dipper, and a few other things like that. So if you have the chance and you're in that vicinity, look us up. We'd love to have you there. So it's time for me to go now. Thank you very much. God bless, and hope to see you at another video.